The Soldier by Rupert Brooke. If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be, in that rich earth, a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. And think, this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as a day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace under an English heaven.
Hello and welcome to GCSE Poems, where we will be helping you to get good grades. Firstly, please like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell, as it will really help us out. Apparently 80% of you guys watching regularly are not subscribed, so please do so. We will also be doing a 2000 V-Buck giveaway. All you need to do is enter your Epic Games username into the comments below and leave a like and subscribe. With all that said, let's get into it. Firstly, we will going to do the structure of the poem. Don't run away.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
It's going to be a good one.
That's great, but you know what else is great? Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is an epic MMORPG on the App Store and Google Play. It has over 50 million active players and more joining every day, so make sure you use the link in the description to get your free champion and 20k starting silver coins. Once again, we would like to thank Raid Shadow Legends for this sponsor.
Firstly, the poem is a sonnet, so it has 14 lines, and it is split into 2 stanzas. The first stanza is an octave consisting of 8 lines. In this, the narrator talks about how even if he dies, it will be for a noble cause, and that there will always be a part of his home, which is England, where he dies. The next stanza is a sestet consisting of 6 lines, where the general feel of the stanza looks back on how homely and pleasant England felt. It looks back on the happy times in England, and throughout the poem, a regular rhyme scheme is used, following an A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, E, F, G rhyme scheme. And it is also worth noting that sonnets are originally emotional and often about love. And although this poem is generally about going to war, you can see the love element in it, as the narrator shows his love for his home and country. So it isn't a romantic love, it's a physical love for where he comes from. Rupert Brooke was an English poet known for his war sonnets that express idealistic patriotism. When World War I broke out in 1914, he enlisted to fight when he was 27 years old. Prior to World War I, he received an education from the University of Cambridge, and he was very popular and travelled widely and completed some journalistic work. He was born on the 3rd of August in 1887 and died on the 23rd of April 1915 on St. George's Day, when he was sailing with the British Mediterranean Expeditionary Forces and contracted blood poisoning, which is known as sepsis, from a mosquito bite. He was buried on the island of Skyros in an olive grove chosen by his friend William Dennis Brown. He was once described as the handsomest young man in England. He is someone who never experienced war, and please take note of this as it is very important. Brooke wrote a sequence of sonnets that was collectively titled 1914. The Soldier is the 5th and final sonnet in the collection. In 1915, the Times literary supplement published The Soldier and the sonnet that came before that. Brooke became a literary celebrity, as these poems caught the spirit of the times, with a country yet to feel the full impact of war.
Now we're going to annotate the poem and explain the effects of phrases and imagery. We start the poem with the title, The Soldier. The is a definitive article which suggests that this soldier is representing them all. The speaker begins by addressing the reader and speaking to them in the imperative. Think only this of me. This sense of immediacy establishes the speaker's romantic attitude towards death and duty. He suggests that the reader should not mourn. Moving on, at the end of the second line, we find the literary technique of alliteration, foreign field. It creates a quiet and soft sound, which creates a peaceful mood. That is Forever England. It's very imperialistic, as it suggests the soldier will conquer foreign soil just by being in it. Then we come onto a word that is mentioned a lot in this poem, England. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 times in the first octave. You get a strong sense of patriotism from this and shows deep admiration and love, almost obsessiveness to his home country. The 4th line is rather litty. You get some juicy quotes that you can really sink your teeth into. It refers to the earth as rich, as in, it's now better than English Persians died there. He also attributes his corpse as being of richer dust, an interesting choice of words here, and perhaps reference to the phrase used during his funeral service, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This idea that his body is simply made of dust isn't necessarily totally symbolic. It's also the first word we have relating to the natural beauty of England. Flowers, air, suns, rivers, they all refer back to England and how beautiful it was. The dust metaphor continues in the 5th line, where the poet talks about how the dust was formed and shaped by England. The concept that he's trying to put across is that he is the very embodiment of England. The wider suggestion is that any soldier who dies for their country fulfills that same criteria. The soldiers are shaped by England, so when they die overseas, they almost act like a seed, spreading Englishness. On the final line of the last stanza, or octave, we come across the verb washed. It acts like a new sense of life. Almost baptized, their sins are washed away. England is personified as a mother. Sons is a pun and play on words, and very effectively displays beautiful England as well as it personifies as mother. Her and her also further emphasise this, highlights the loyalty to England as well as desire and to defend and protect itself. He ends the octet with the word home, which emphasises how important England is to the person. As is often the case with the sonnet, the second stanza approaches a new concept. In this case, it appears that the narrator is adding a further thought due to his first line, and think this, makes it seem like he has had an epiphany. The use of language in this stanza is interesting. It talks of hearts and minds in an attempt to personify England. The reason for doing this is because people have a vested interest in people. If you can humanise a country, you can increase its value in the eyes of people. The physical is left behind in favour of the spiritual. If the first stanza is about the soldier's thought of this world and England, the second is about his thoughts of heaven. The caesura slowed down the pace of the poem, creating a reflective tone. Again, the soldier is made a hero and becomes sinless when all the evil is shed away. Note the use of the word eternal. Whilst not referencing England directly, its use is very deliberate. It puts through the thought of eternity into your mind, so you associate that with England. The poem has a sense that England will prevail, that our serenity is eternal. The poem draws its conclusion in the final tercet. Once again, this is used to extol the virtues of the English culture. This is made to feel very visceral by drawing on the senses. It isn't just about how England looks, but how it sounds as well. Sights and sounds, happy, laughter, friends. These descriptions are almost a way to justify what was said in the first stanza. The reference to happy words once again refers to the idealistic and idyllic view of England. Peace contrasts with the chaos of war. The final few words just show how England was the best place to be, an English heaven, an image of death suggesting glory and righteousness.
Thank you, Rish, for that pretty epic segment of context and analysis in the poem The Soldier by Rupert Brooke. Now, we will be diving into the deeper meanings behind all 14 lines in the Soldier poem. Let's take a look at the first line. If I should die, think only this of me. This line really sets the tone for the rest of the poem. Although this is about death, it is also about fighting for your country and fighting for a cause you believe in. A theme very common throughout this poem. The second line reads that there's some corner of a foreign field. Foreign is obviously referring to the battlefields, since all battles in World War I were not fought on English soil. Brooke then finishes his sentence in line 3 with the phrase that reads, "That is forever England." Although these first 3 lines do seem quite confusing, piecing them all together does give a coherent meaning. The meaning that my colleagues and I have come up with is that these 3 lines, right here, are referring to his dead body. And if he died in combat, that place where he died will become a part of England just because his body is there. Dust is obviously a reference to his dead body, and when he uses the adjective rich and richer, then he is saying that the earth that he died on is now more valuable because it holds his dead body. A dust tomb England bore, shaped, made aware. This could mean that England made us the people we are, and it shaped how we are and how we think, more the reason to fight for it. Another meaning I picked up on in line 5 is that England is quite similar to a motherly figure. England shaped us, just like a mother would shape their child. This meaning is only reinforced in the 6th line. Gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam. Notice the use of these pronouns, really reining in the point that England is almost a mother to the population, and that we should be protecting it, just like we would protect our own mother. Line 7 then reads, a body of England's, breathing English air. Notice the use of the adjective English here. It is saying that the air that we breathe as humans isn't actually ours, and is instead given to us by Mother England out of the pure kindness of her heart. Line 8 reads, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. This line is full of biblical references. Washed by the rivers is obviously a reference to when Jesus baptized a group of people by the river. Blessed by sons of home also holds religious meaning. Knights were blessed before going into battle, similar to how these soldiers in World War I were blessed going into battle in France. Line 9 is also extremely lit. It reads, and think, this heart all evil shed away. This could mean when you fight for England, it is a noble cause, so all your sins are taken away. This also links back to the references of God and religion in line 8. Line 10 reads, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less. The use of the word eternal implies that England will last forever, whether it's in the literal sense or in the minds of the people that were brought up in it. Line 11 links in with line 10, and it reads, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given. That if England is to fall, that people are to remember the nation that brought them up, and not forget their heritage, no matter the consequences of doing so. Lines 12 and 13 tell us of what the soldiers were fighting for. Her sights and sounds, dreams happy as a day, and laughter, learnt to friends, and gentleness. These lines tell us of how great England is, reigning in the fact that England is a place worth fighting for, and even giving up your life for. The final line, line 14, then reads, in hearts at peace under an English heaven. In hearts at peace could be referencing the people who died for England, and that they did it willingly because it was a cause that they believed in, and that they are happy with the sacrifice that they had made. Under an English heaven could infer that England is the closest thing we can come to heaven on earth.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this English GCSE poetry video, and please make sure to like and subscribe. GCSE Poems over and out.